Welcome to the next edition of the world-famous Cheeky Jaguar radio broadcast. We are coast to coast. We are border to border on iHeartRadio. Also 50-plus AM/FM stations across the country and around the world. And we have a fantastic guest with us today. I am a huge, huge fan of this individual, and I am so glad that we have got a great freedom fighter with us today. Tony Lyons is the president and publisher of Skyhorse Publishing. It's a company that has over 10,000 books in print. Tony has fought the censorship of numerous books recently, including books by Woody Allen, Alan Dershowitz, and, of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s brand new book, The Real Anthony Fauci, which is a bestseller and basically the most censored book in America. We welcome in the fantastic Tony Lyons. Tony, how are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Now, you have got quite the deal. I love what Skyhorse Publishing does. I've interviewed a couple of your authors. I would love to interview more because you guys have some amazing people over there. Tell us about this backlash and everything you've received with Robert Kennedy's best-selling book on Fauci.
Yeah, so this is the best-selling book in America. It's in all formats, shipped over 500,000 copies in 4 weeks. It was a #1 USA Today bestseller, #1 Amazon bestseller. Actually, right now, it's still #1. #1 Publishers Weekly, so it's selling anywhere it's available, and there's a total media blackout for it, meaning that there have been no reviews in any major newspapers. You can't advertise for it online. You get a message back saying that this has been blocked because it's misinformation. Bookstores all around the country are refusing to carry it, even if people try to special order it.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
Notwithstanding book in America.
Well, I'll tell you, that is first of all, the fact that you can't order it when you try to order it is amazing to me because I've never heard of that before. That is just phenomenal. Just amazing that that's been able to happen that way. I'm just blown away by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a #1 bestseller, and you can call up many bookstores in the United States, and they will just say, we don't carry it, and they won't elaborate.
Wow. Now, another thing that you brought up, which I'm just blown away by, is the fact that even though you've had all these issues, Tony, you have a bestseller on your hands here. This is amazing. People have been able to get, basically they've gotten the book. They've gotten the information without, that they've just found a way to make it work.
Yeah, what's really striking here is that, many of these places call it misinformation, and you can see how that word is being so misused now.
Yes.
As sort of just a euphemism for censorship, because this is a book that's got 2,194 citations. It's incredibly well researched. Robert Kennedy worked on this, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 9 months. It's got, more than 200,000 words. And it's got a blurb from a Nobel Prize winning scientist, and then blurbs from other doctors and lawyers and scientists. I mean, this is an incredibly well-researched, legitimate, serious book. And so many different places just instantly call it misinformation because it's anti-Dr. Fauci.
So with all the books and all the different authors that you've worked with over the years, have you ever seen anything like this at all?
I have never seen anything like this. I mean, what's really shocking is that these powerful forces in the country are resorting to censorship when, for a whole bunch of reasons, that's a bad idea. One,
yes,
people recognize in this country that if you have a better idea or if you have a better argument, you can make that argument. I mean, that's what free speech is all about. So the only reason that you can really have for censorship is that you don't believe that your argument will persuade anybody. And, what we're seeing here with this book and with many other books now in the last 6 months is that censorship just doesn't work, that people are smarter than that, that
yes.
they don't trust all of these places that are telling the general public not to read this book. And, what they see is that this new book comes out, it's a runaway bestseller, there are no reviews, but there's article after article that are basically just hit pieces trying to bring down the credibility of the book or attack the integrity of the author. So, that's so transparent that it leads people to be more excited about getting the book. And the fact that they go to place after place and those places won't even sell them the book makes them wonder, what's so dangerous about this book? Why do such powerful forces in this country not want you to read it?
We've got Tony Lyons with us today from Skyhorse Publishing. And you guys have been in the business for a heck of a long time. Have you ever had anything controversial like this before? Kind of compare the backlash to what Robert's facing to some of your other authors.
Yeah, I mean, we've had lots of books that are controversial. I mean, when we published the memoir by Woody Allen, it had been canceled by a very large publisher because there had been protests outside the publishing company. And that book it's a terrific read about an iconic figure, and it was being censored based on unsubstantiated allegations from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's one case, but there are lots of other cases like that are sort of cancel culture cases, where an incredibly interesting book by somebody who hasn't been convicted of any crime and has a great story to tell. And in this country, you're supposed to be innocent till you're proven guilty. So this is sort of like a way around that you can be found guilty in the court of public opinion. But, censorship, like I said before, doesn't work and doesn't lead to anything that people really want. So when you censor somebody else's work that you disagree with, when you don't take into account the importance of freedom of speech in this country, then when it happens to you, you're often shocked. And you see that now all the time, that people are furious that their books thrown out of libraries or not being taught in schools, but they don't recognize that by censoring things that they disagree with, they're adding to this problem and they're helping to create this serious problem.
Yes, and one of the things I think is amazing about this book is we've got Tony Lyons with us today from Skyhorse Publishing. The thing that I find so amazing about this book, and I said it earlier, and I just find it great, is that you guys put this book out there, and regardless of all the nonsense you had to put up with, people are still able to find the book and still being able to read the book. And so you guys should be commended like crazy for that.
And that's what's really fascinating here too, is that, given all of these negative articles that have been written about Robert Kennedy, where they're just going after him but ignoring all of the serious claims of corruption that he's making, you really start to see that this is just a playbook and that the American public sees through it. And they see that, Robert Kennedy is an incredible fighter for justice, that he's doing all these things with no benefit to himself. He's losing money. He's losing friends. He's suffering from all of this, awful vitriol which is thrown his way. But if you look at his history, he was right about the Hudson River and helped clean it up. He was right about mercury and early childhood vaccines.
Yep.
He was right about Monsanto and helped win a $77 million lawsuit where somebody got, died of cancer
Yep.
based on glyphosate, which is in Roundup. He's been a fighter of corruption, at the corporate level and in government over, the last 3 or 4 decades. And he's brought more than 500 lawsuits, so I think that gains him credibility. He may well be right about Dr. Anthony Fauci, and Dr. Fauci has to answer these claims of corruption. If he can answer them and if he has better arguments, he should make those. And It can't be okay in this country to just stifle dialogue and debate.
We have got a great guest with us today. Tony Lyons joins us from Skyhorse Publishing. He joins us today here on our big program, talking a little bit about this incredible book and just some of the backlash that Robert F. Kennedy has been getting to this book. And Tony has been the president and publisher at Sky. He publishes like this, that some, like Robert Kennedy,
people have different points of view, and it's carried off to COVID seems to be fair game. But, at its heart, this is not even a book about COVID or vaccines.
Yeah.
This is about corruption at the highest levels of government. This book accuses Dr. Fauci and big pharma companies of serious corruption. And, I think what has to come from a book like this in a democracy is some kind of an investigation into whether these allegations are true. And that's what the media has to do. That's what major newspapers ought to do. Rather than slam the author and try to dig up every piece of dirt they can dig up on the author, why don't they look at the allegations in the book and analyze those and ask Dr. Fauci to answer them?
You've hit that on the head, my friend. Tony Lyons with us today from Skyhorse Publishing. So what are some other projects that you guys are working on that you can tell us about?
So 2 other books that we have out are the Case Against Vaccine Mandates by Kent Heckenlively, who is an attorney,
Awesome.
And then the Case for Vaccine Mandates by Alan Dershowitz. So what we want to do with books like these is present the public with both sides of a story.
Yes.
Because we really believe as a company that people ought to be able to hear both sides of the story and then make a decision for themselves about what they think is right, both for their own lives, for their families' lives, and decide for themselves what they believe in.
That's amazing. Well, I look forward to talking with you more. I would love to talk with a lot of your folks as well on their books as well. Thanks for doing this, my friend. Have yourself a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday, and thanks for coming on with us today.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it, Tony. Have yourself a wonderful day. There he goes. That is Tony Lyons, and he joins us today here on our big program. Thanks for joining us, and we will inevitably, as they